Hello my witches, heathens, and ghouls, back to my channel, A Weird Witch. Hi, hello, how are ya? To the new people, welcome. Thank you for coming. So today we are going to be doing a card reading for the new moon in Gemini on June 18th, 2023. So before we begin, I think we all know that new moons, are generally for resting, rejuvenation, planning for things ahead of time, all that nice stuff. And Gemini is, even though a lot of people I know like to say like, oh, Gemini is like two-faced. That's not really true. There's a balance, right, to everything. And Gemini definitely like imbues that for balance. Yeah, Gemini is very people-based. They really like to communicate with people. They like to be around groups of their friends. They're very curious people, very outgoing. They can also be a little nosy / inquisitive. Very, very curious people. And they can also be impulsive as well. So I just want us to remember, this card reading is all about Gemini as in the new moon. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started. We will start with the Red Hand Lenormand deck while I get everything out of the way. And again, just in case people are new here and they don't know, I'm not going to go over it again. If y'all want more of an explanation like this Lenormand and how Lenormand actually is usually used, you can go to my actual first card reading video, which is for the full moon in Sagittarius for June 2023. Just letting y'all know. But basically, this Lenormand deck doesn't use the traditional Lenormand 36 cards. This is a 52 card set, so it has additional cards, and it does have the traditional like male and female card, but they're like Animus and Animatrix, and it has a non-binary card in here as well, just so y'all know. And those are definitely like for the querent, the person who's asking. So if we get it, it's possibly, definitely referring to us as a person. So, pretty goddess, what is something that we need to hear about for this new moon in Gemini coming up on the 18th? And I'm going to be doing a 3-card pull. Oh, interesting. We have the Child. Just a quick reminder, the Lenormand doesn't normally do upside down or reversed cards. So any reversed cards that I get, I'm not going to be using. Sorry if you can't really see very well. The light's kind of being an ass. Here we go. So our first card is number 13, the Child, which is a Jack of Spades. We have a Joker card. Again, this is an extra in this deck. And it is a Astral card in this deck. And our last card is number 4, House, as the King of Hearts. So Child is definitely normally, it can be very literal as like a child. Like a child could be the receiver for this. It also very esoterically for new beginnings, your childhood, innocence, youth, or it could be simple-minded, very naive, a little trusting, youthful, playful. And since we have the extra card, the Astral, for the Joker, this seems, and I am reading from the booklet just because like I don't normally get like the extra cards. If I do, I will read from the booklet. So Astral Joker usually is higher mind, the astral plane, another world, passing through, mental travel. Could also mean you're disembodied, you're wandering or exploring, or something dangerous is happening. And number 4 house usually refers to the home, your family, safety, tradition, physical property. It could also mean that you're in a very stable environment. You could be stable as well. And has a lot to do with domestic affairs. What I see from the cards so far is that it could be that you are, especially in this new moon, for like resting, rejuvenation, or doing like you could be doing some inner shadow work. And I know a lot shadow work definitely gets tossed around in the witchy community a whole lot. To me, shadow work literally only means looking into yourself and figuring out what causes you to do things that you do. Or looking into yourself and seeing what bothers you, what you feel like you need to change. So far, it could be that thinking about or starting something new in your shadow work practice, maybe concerning the home. That's what I'm thinking so far, but let's pull another card. We are going to be pulling this time from this deck. I thought it would be appropriate since it's a new moon. This is definitely more of a shadowy deck. This Mildred Payne's Oracle Black Enchantment by Deviant Moon. I got this from Deviant Moon's Etsy, and you can only buy it on Etsy currently. I will leave a link down in the description below. I will be leaving links to where I got all of these decks from, and definitely most of the decks I actually buy are from Etsy. And this one so far is actually my favorite. I absolutely love this deck. So let's get into it. So these are pretty big cards. They're like, because my hand, let me see, my hand, I have tiny hands. They're as big as my hands. It's freaking crazy. So I can't really shuffle these a whole lot. Just like with the Spirit Animal Oracle deck, those are huge cards. I can't exactly shuffle them as I do with the Lenormand cards, because the Lenormand cards are normally like way smaller. They're like actual playing card size. And tarot decks I can also shuffle, but not huge freaking cards like these. So, what is the shadowy aspect that we need to see in ourselves for this new moon? Because clearly, you want to talk about shadow work, it seems like, or starting a new shadow work practice, or starting a shadow work practice for this new moon. All right. So, interesting. Very, very interesting. I'm going to try and scoot this as close as possible to that. So the card I pulled from this deck is literally the number 1 card. And it's literally called the Cavalcade. And usually, like with the Spirit Animal Oracle, it has a reversed meaning and a upright meaning. Since I can't exactly get it to reverse itself on how I shuffle it, I'm basically going to be taking the dark meaning with more negative cards and the light meaning with more positive cards. I will be describing what it is or what's on there, and then picking if it's either a dark meaning or a light meaning. Sorry, that's just how I'm going to roll with this, but that's what I get for having huge ass oracle cards. And the description for this says, beware, The end of peaceful days has arrived. The cavalcade of mischief exits the gates of hell, intent on spreading chaos around the world. I'm not sure if jokers are considered, because this astral card it seems to be more like eye-opening, looking into yourself, feeling your emotions, or spiritually awakening as well. Very interesting thought, but there. I would say, and it's also weird because I see like this sun motif, like with the child, then there's like a little sun motif here and a sun motif here, even though these two sun motifs are not highlighted, like this sun here. But it's just strange that those are there. So, you know what? I actually might go with the light meaning this one because it makes a lot of sense. So the light meaning is a series of unique challenges will lead to personal growth once overcome. Just because from these cards I see, maybe spiritual challenges, in the home. But yeah, I could definitely see, not, because, even going through shadow work, you're going to be overcoming obstacles with what you find. Even if in the beginning it might not be problematic for you to see your shadow, eventually it might actually come to a head where it starts to become a problem, especially with your, I don't want to say spiritual awakening because that it's so corny, but yeah, like spiritual awakening, opening your mind to spiritual experiences, even if it's like domestic affair, like a domestic, like with your own gods or like with your ancestors, going down a new path with them, or going down a path with your gods as well. Maybe starting shadow work with that, how you got here in the first place, how you got to your deities, or how you work with your ancestors. And maybe you'll learn something new that will open your eyes more to what you're experiencing as a spiritual being living in a physical body, what they say, or we're a spirit going through a human experience. All right, so this is Free's deck, my goddess. This is the English rune card set. We're going to shuffle and I'm going to pull just one card out of here. Free goddess. What is something we need to know or learn about this upcoming new moon in Gemini? So we got the Tyr card, and this is very interesting because the Tyr rune is connected to Tiu, the god. He's basically connected to Tyr in the Norse religion, or at least the Norse pantheon. Tiu is definitely a god of justice, of order. Holding on to your obligations, or going through with them as well, sacrificing oneself for the greater good. And it says, Tiu is one of the signs, holds faith well with noblemen, on a journey is always above the night's gloom, never fails. And Tyr is actually, Tiu and Tyr, he is actually very well known for being a guiding light, because he is associated with the North Star. So, and the North Star, is known for guiding travelers, especially seamen, on the open waters in the ocean. Tiu is also known for, like I said, with Tyr in the Norse pantheon, is known to definitely keep with his principles, staying with community, which actually could be connected to the house card for the Lenormand. So, I'm actually not sure how to take this one. Because if we take it all at face value, not think of anything else, I can definitely see that when we start our journey into becoming more spiritually awakened, and I hate saying that word, sorry, excuse me, but once we start our journey to become more spiritually awakened, even through doing shadow work, we can become more stable people. Because child in the house, because you can mirror these, so we can become more stable people, more happy, maybe even more caring to the people that we consider family. Friends can even be considered family, we can choose our own family, but we have to go through those hurdles first. And once we go through those hurdles, and they just keep coming, it'll never end. You will become more aware, but that means you can also maybe become a guiding light. Not to say that you have to keep people that aren't well suited for you in your life, because abusers will be always abusers, especially if they don't recognize it. Or if they do recognize it and they just want to keep being abusers, they will just keep being abusers. But once you become more mature, and we can definitely take this new moon, because Gemini, they love to be in groups. They love their friend group. They love being around other people. They love to communicate with others. But they also are very childish. They're also very, not ignorant, but very youthful, very curious people. But that curiosity can also bring them down, especially when you start to learn about problems, your problems, other people's problems, and going through that awareness of I don't remember what I was saying. Sorry, y'all, I had a scare with my device. I thought my phone was dying because I record with my phone. Instead, it was my computer that was dying, because I use the computer to mirror my phone so I can see what the fuck I'm doing. Anyway, yes. So, you can become more spiritually aware, or even more physically aware of your surroundings, of the people that you hang out with, of the people you consider family. And you can become, I think, especially with this spread, I can see that once we start becoming aware of our actions, seeing how we treat other people and how they treat us back, we will become someone who actually has principles, who actually cares about our community and about what happens to them, especially we're in Pride Month as well. We should care about our community. We should care about the people that are being harmed, that don't have or are losing their rights, which fucking sucks, especially during Pride Month. But I guess the general consensus of this would be that once we start to actually acknowledge our bad behaviors, I don't want to say bad emotions, but becoming more aware of how we treat others, definitely, and how doing the shadow work to become more stable people, we will become better people and start having more principles. Or at least that's how I see it, especially in this new moon in Gemini coming up. We could definitely be using this new moon to pull in to ourselves and look at our shadows and look at how we're treating people and look how other people are treating us as well, and, you know, become just better people in general. That's all. That's pretty much what I get from this deck. So, yeah. This was nice. I know, like, at first I did not get it, but definitely having these other cards makes my eyes open, definitely, way more. I'm just like, okay, now I get it. Maybe I should start doing that more often, because in my own personal readings, because sometimes I only use, like, the Lenormand set, and then I get confused, and I'm like, I don't know how to take this, like, at all. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me. So if y'all enjoyed this video, this message, what I talked about, go ahead and feel free to like the video. Comment your thoughts on this, especially for this new moon coming up. It's very, very interesting how everything connects back to one another. Also, if you want to, subscribe to the channel. I'm not going to force you. And I really hope y'all enjoyed this reading today, and I will see y'all in the next video. Bye!